Really mixed feelings about this one. Was it worth getting up at 7 o'clock this morning to watch it before work? Entertainment-wise, yes. Result-wise, no. I think what's most disappointing is that we were by far the better team today, but due to our own idiotic defending, we've ended up losing it. And what's even worse again is it wasn't just the reserve team that started the game that was sloppy. It was the first team defence as well. And that is something that we're obviously going to have to try and iron out. But overall, like I say, I was still happy with the performance. It is still pre-season, so we can't read too much into the result. But if that was a proper game, we've thrown away 3 points today. So that's the way I always have to look at these things. And there are things that really have to be ironed out in our defence if we are going to be successful this season. Now, I know the first 2 goals were probably down to Brandon Williams, in particularly the first one where he's got absolutely skinned by Adeyemi by diving in like he always does. He's then tried to redeem himself by diving in again, and by doing so has inadvertently played the ball perfectly into Donny Malon's path, who put the ball in the back of the net. And I think because of that, you then get this situation where literally 30 seconds later, Victor Lindelof's got the ball and he doesn't want to give the ball to Brandon Williams because he doesn't trust him. He ends up giving it away, and the next minute the ball's in the back of the net again. So that's really disappointing. It's really poor from Lindelof, who normally is so good at the ball at his feet. But unfortunately, that's then carried over into the second half, where at the start of the second half, I can't remember who it was, I think it was Eriksson, gave the ball away, which then resulted in a chance where Onana makes a phenomenal save down to his bottom left-hand side, the sort of save that De Gea would never have been able to make. And then 2 minutes later again, it's Wan-Bissaka giving the ball away, just aimlessly playing a ball towards, I say aimlessly, he was trying to pass it to Casemiro, but he didn't look before he passed it, gives it away, another chance comes in, and Moukoko makes it 3-2. So, realistically, those were the only real chances Borussia Dortmund had in the entire game, other than the corner that came off the bar via a Harry Maguire header. Yes, Harry Maguire nearly scored an own goal, but that was it. It was 4 chances where we have sloppily either given the ball away or overcommitted ourselves, and 1 corner which we defended rather poorly. Other than that, it was all Manchester United. And like I say, it's just disappointing because if that happens in the Premier League, we would have lost the game today, and that's a real shame because it takes away from what was a very, very good Manchester United performance on the ball from the midfield going forward. And I say that for both teams that played today. I was really, really impressed with an awful lot of players, in particularly in the first half, Dalot, Van der Beek and Pellistri, with Pellistri being the absolute star man out of those 3. Really, really pleased that he got game time today. Obviously, Garnacho and Ahmad were both rested due to precautionary injuries, and that gave Pellistri his chance. And I was really, really pleased with him. I think he needs to be playing a lot more game time, needs to be playing more minutes. I spoke about him, I think, a little bit last week as well, but every time he got the ball, he was causing havoc to the right-hand side of Borussia Dortmund's defence, be it Wolf or Soulé. He was just getting at both of them. Very reminiscent of Garnacho's performance against Real Madrid as well. I hope Pellistri is going to get the game time he deserves this season because he really, really looks a threat. Dalot, of course, picking up the opening goal of the game with a brilliant turn and shot into the far corner. I'll do my comparison with Wan-Bissaka to him in a moment's time. And then Donny van der Beek, who has, of course, been subject to a lot of interest. Real Sociedad looking the most likely destination for him at the moment, given that David Silva has now retired due to that ACL injury. They have eyelined Donny as their main man to come in to replace him, looking at a loan with an option to buy. I think for now, I would just make it a loan deal. I spoke about that when I did my Who Should Say, Who Should Go video. I said I would loan Donny out this season and then see how he performed and potentially look at keeping him next season. But really impressed with him today. He got both assists for the reserve team, for lack of a better way of calling it, the second team. He got both assists. He set up Dalot for his goal, and it was his pressing and his determination to win the ball back, which then set up Anthony's goal at the start of the second half as well. So really, really impressed with Donny van der Beek. I hope he has done enough to, like I say, secure himself either a move to a team where he's going to play every week, or at the very least secured a spot in the squad for Manchester United next for the upcoming season. I was really, really impressed with him. On to the second half, and like I say, I don't really have any major complaints about any players other than Wan-Bissaka, who Normally, I'm singing his praises, but let's be honest, defensively, Wan-Bissaka really didn't have to do a lot today. Dortmund, as I said, were not really much of a threat. So Wan-Bissaka didn't have to do much defensively, which is where he excels. And then offensively, he was very poor. And that was no more evident in the first couple of minutes where Rashford gets the ball, breaks down to the far side, cuts it back. Yes, it was a pass intended for Mason Mount, which he couldn't get to because Rashford didn't quite get the pass right. But it comes all the way across to Wan-Bissaka and he bloody skies it completely out of the stadium. Whereas you're thinking if that was Dalot off the back of the way he played in the first half, then that was probably going to be in the back of the net for another goal. And then he compounded that poor attack by then giving away the ball for the eventual winner for Dortmund. So Bit concerned for Wan-Bissaka off of this pre-season. Obviously, he's done his defensive jobs very well, but I would say his overall performances, his lack of willingness to run back in a couple of the earlier pre-season games, and then his offensive performance today, I think it's put real pressure on him, given how well Dalot played for that opening fixture against Wolves in a couple of weeks' time, where I think right now, given the fact that Wolves aren't exactly the best team offensively, they literally scored the least goals in the Premier League last season, I think you should be looking at Diogo Dalot to start that game, since we don't really need Wan-Bissaka's defensive outlay for that Wolves game, but we shall see. Other than that, like I say, I thought the rest of the first team played really, really well. Shaw looked dangerous. Rashford looked very, very dangerous back out on the left-hand side where he should be playing. Obviously now Højlund will be coming in as the main striker. I thought Bruno looked dangerous. I thought Mount looked really good. Casemiro doing what Casemiro does. Just once again, we couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Rashford had a chance at the back post where he just sort of studied over the ball rather than putting it in the back of the net. A minute later, again, Rashford down to the byline, chinks inside, shots fast, corner, good save from Maya, falls for Anthony on his right foot with an open goal. He's just got to put it in the net. But as I said, that was Anthony on his right foot, so he put it 5 yards wide. Plenty of other chances. Hugo came on up front. He had his chance, brilliantly put through by Bruno Fernandes, and all he had to do was either lift it or slot it through the keeper's legs. He's tried to bend it round him. Another good save from Maya. And once again, I was just sort of sat there going, we just need the goal scorer on the pitch. But obviously, we've signed Højlund now. Hopefully, he is going to be the man that's going to do that. I say signed. We've agreed to sign. It's not officially done yet. I'm sure it'll be done probably by either the end of today or by the very latest, probably Wednesday or Thursday. I hope we see him in a red shirt either on Saturday or on Sunday in our final two pre-season games. I want him to have at least played a game with the team before the opener against Wolves, because I'd be a little bit worried that we wouldn't have a recognised striker against Wolves if Højlund isn't available. But like I say, I'm happy with today's performance overall. We look very, very dangerous. We're creating a lot more chances. I should also mention Onana in terms of his build-up play. Some of the balls that he was hitting to Bruno or to Rashford, or the releases into midfield to Casemiro. Very, very impressed with how Onana's playing on the ball. So I'm hoping he's going to play an integral part in our build-up play this season as well. It's just, we've got to iron out those mistakes in defence, be it passing it away or, like I say, Brandon Williams diving into challenges. Something that I wouldn't expect to see from Luke Shaw or Malacia if they're in the left-back position. It's almost there. So we've got 2 more pre-season games, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. I imagine it'll just be the second team in one game playing the full 90, the first team playing the other game for the full 90. That's how I would do it. Give both squads a full game. Maybe do a mix and match. I don't know. I think you'll probably find that the team that's expected to start against Wolves will start one of those 2 games. So we shall see. Iron out those defensive mistakes. Be a little bit more clinical in front of goal, and I think we are very, very ready to mount, hopefully, a title challenge for next season. If not, we should be still minimum targeting top 4 the way we've been playing recently. But you know what? Right here, right now, I'm confident that we can challenge. It's just how long that challenge will last. And of course, it all depends how we do in those 2 away games against Tottenham and Arsenal in the first few weeks of the season. That'll be it for today's reaction. Let me know your thoughts on the game if you did watch it as well, and what you think about our current prospects. Are you happy with the signing of Højlund? How desperately do we need to get him integrated into the squad quickly? And what can we do to iron out those defensive mistakes? Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you very soon.